Okay, lesson week 4, and we are starting at the top of page 7. So please make sure your book is open to the top of page 7. And as our warm-up today, we're going to review the fingers for B flat, C, and D, because you'll notice on page 7 they don't keep putting the little finger chart boxes. They just tell you one time on page 6, and then you're supposed to have the fingers memorized. So let's start with the fingers for D. And I like to check fingers by holding my flute in rest position. Your rest position could be across your shoulder like this or straight up and down on your leg. Okay, so give me a foot check, a back check, nice and straight. And we're going to just put our flute right on our leg like our recorder. Okay, from your videos that I was watching, the most common mistake I saw is that people are trying to hold their flute with both hands going the same way. You can't hold it like this. So that wouldn't be right sideways. So when you set your hands up on your flute, put it on your leg first and hold it like a recorder. Your hands come in towards the middle, not like both hands don't go the same way. This is not how you play the flute. Your left hand is towards your mouth and your right hand is away from your mouth, okay? So let's do the fingers for D. We need thumb 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we always start by saying the top hand first. So let's try that again. D equals thumb 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Again, D equals thumb 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now see if you can make those all go down together like a mouth. Humph. That's going to be what makes you a good flute player, is if you can close all your fingers together. So D equals thumb 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. For C, the fingers that are in the air need to go down and everything comes off. So we have 1 and pinky, everything else off. That is C. Try it again. 1, pinky, nothing else. Okay? C, 1 and pinky, nothing else. B flat, thumb 1, 1, pinky. Let's do that again. B flat, thumb 1, 1, pinky. Okay, now you can always look back at those boxes on page 6, but those boxes are going to disappear when we turn the page because you won't be able to see them. So we need to look at the top of page 7 now for anything that might be new. And there's just a couple things. So first of all, take your finger or pointing device, otherwise known as your finger. If you have your pencil, there's my pencil. You could use your pencil eraser as a pointer. All right, so you put your finger or your pencil eraser right at the top of page 7. And I see something that's called half note. Half note is a note that's not colored in the center with a stem. It looks like a stick, but it's a stem. Okay? And a half note you blow for 2 beats. Next to the half note is a half rest. And that means you be quiet for 2 beats. Stop the air from going through your flute for 2 beats. It looks like a little hat, the half rest. Okay, so we have a 2-beat note, a 2-beat rest, and then let's look at the last thing at the top of page 7. It's called a breath mark. It looks like a comma, maybe it looks like an apostrophe. It's going to be used kind of like an apostrophe where it goes up high. Okay, and if you see a breath mark in between 2 notes, that means you must take your mouth off and take a breath, even if you're not out of air. So since you're just learning, you'll probably be happy to see a breath mark because you're probably out of air. I am actually unhappy to see a breath mark because I usually still have more air inside my lungs, but too bad for me. If it says breath mark, we take a breath. So let's move our eyes down to number 8. You can see they put breath marks in between the 2 notes. So when we say the notes in number 8, a breath of fresh air, where there's a breath mark, we're literally going to take a breath. Okay, so let's say the notes, the breath marks, and the rest for number 8. I'm still using my pencil eraser as a pointing device. You can use your finger if you want. Put your pointing device right on number 8, and let's say the notes. 1, 2, say the notes. D, D. Rest. 2, you're switching your fingers. C, C. Rest. 2, you're switching your fingers. B flat, B flat. Cool. So the breath mark is not a rest. It's really fast. So I'll demonstrate the first. I'll play D, breath mark D. Okay? actually between the time my toe is tapping, between the fourth beat of the first measure and the first beat of the second measure. It's not a rest, so you got to be really fast about it. Okay, I don't take my mouth off. I don't take my flute off my mouth. I just, and then put my mouth into the M shape. Okay, so let's try it. Here we go. This is number 8. D fingers first. Thumb, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Number 8. You're tapping your foot with me. 1, 2. Ready, play. Rest. Switch to C. 1 and pinky. Thumb. 1, 1, pinky. Okay, so that might have been too fast for you to switch your fingers, but I don't think we can go much slower because how long could you even be able to blow for? So if you need to rewind that and do it again, or even better, pause and do it at your own speed, however long it takes you to switch your fingers. I will remind you that we cannot take our flute off our face to look at your fingers. That is not how you play the flute. You can feel around for it. That's why I like to say the fingers, because you can't look. I guess you could do it in a mirror or something, but you can't be taking your flute off your face. You don't have time because, look at number 9. It's called side by side. Okay, I still see notes with breath marks, but now you have to do something else in the breath mark. While you're taking a breath, do your fingers stay the same? No, because let's say the notes. When the notes are changing and you're taking a breath, you're also switching your fingers in the breath. So let's put our trusty pointing device on number 9, and let's say the notes. 1, 2, say the notes. D, C, rest. 2, stay on C. C, B flat, rest. 2, 3, 4. C, D, and now you see why you don't have time to take your flute off your face to change your fingers, right? You have to just have them memorized. So a little helpful trick before we try this. Actually, let's just do it in the air with our fingers first. So we start on D, so let's do D, thumb 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. When you play D, your first finger, the one I'm wiggling, is sticking straight up in the air for D. Now, in real life, does it have to stick straight up in the air? No, it can hover over the key. But I think to start, you should have it sticking straight up so you make sure it's not pressing. Okay? Now, when we switch to C, we put that finger down. 1, pinky. Everything else comes off. Goodbye. Okay? Then we rest. We stay on C for one time, and then we go to B flat. Thumb, 1, 1, pinky. Yes, there are fingers that stay down between C and B flat. Your pinky and your first finger stay, and you add your thumb and your other first finger. Okay? And then I think we have to go from C, 1 and pinky, to D. That is the hardest switch of the entire flute. C, D. I think I said that in the last video. C, D. Okay? Now, let me tell you a helpful hint. Normally I would say, well, when you're sitting around in your other classes and you're really bored, take your pencil and start doing your flute fingers on your pencil. Now, don't tell anyone I said this, but you could be practicing your flute fingerings with your pencil in your lap while you're in your other classes, but don't tell anybody. Okay, literally, I'm going B flat, C, B flat, C. You don't need a flute to practice your fingers. B flat, C. The hardest one, C, D, C, D, C. It's just finger muscle memory, okay? So that's a way to practice your fingers. Let's try to play number 9. If we go really slow, you know what's going to happen. The notes get really long, and then we can't blow in one breath. So there's a trade-off. I'm going to go at a medium speed. If you need to pause and do it at your own speed, that's fine. This is number 9. Side by side. D, then C. Here we go. D fingers first. Thumb, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I need a foot check, a back check. Roll up, find the hole. Don't forget to roll it back down. Some people were leaving it. The hole does not stay in your mouth. The hole goes under your lip. Okay, here we go. Number 9. D is first. 1, 2, ready, play. on C, then B flat. Switch to C, then to D. Okay, shake out your hands if you need to. A little hint. From C to D, you might not even see my fingers moving. Why? Because I'm keeping them hovering over the keys. When we first start, maybe you have them sticking straight up. But if I'm going to go C, D, I can't have my fingers going straight up in the air. That's like too much work. C, D. Okay? You're going to also check out number 10 by yourself at home. It's the same idea, but the notes are in different order. So once you feel good about 8, 9, and 10, so you could pause if you want to practice those again, we are moving to number 11. Number 11 uses those half notes we were talking about earlier when we were looking at the top of the page. And I think half notes are actually easier to play because they're shorter. Now, put your finger on number 11, half the price. Do you see any breath marks? I see rests. I see some half rests, but I don't see breath marks, which means you should not be breathing between the notes if there's no breath mark. So I don't talk like this. Whoa, I did it like 4 times and I'm already dizzy from breathing in and out too much. The same way we talk is the way we're going to play our flute. You take 1 breath and you make 3 sounds with your tongue, or you move your mouth around. You know, when you're talking, you're using your tongue and your lips. Same thing when we're playing flute. So the first 3 notes are D. Check it out. 1 breath. 3 T sounds. Sounds like this. Then I switch, okay? So let's say the notes with your trusty pointing device or finger for number 11. Here we go. It's still D, C, and B flat, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, say the notes. D, 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 rest, rest. C, 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 rest, rest. B flat, B flat, B flat, rest, rest. C, rest, rest. B flat. Now how many people got tricked at the end because you thought it was going to be 3 C's and then it was only 1? Ha-ha! This book tries to trick you all the time because they want to make sure you're actually reading the notes and not making up your own song, okay? So we want to keep our eyes on the book. Let's try it. I'm going to go at a medium speed so we don't run out of air. If you need to pause and go slower so that you can move your fingers faster, that's fine. I really need you to start memorizing the fingers for D, C, and B flat because soon we're going to learn 2 new notes, okay? Here we go. Starting with half the price, number 11, 3 T sounds. Actually, before we play, can you play me 3 Ds in 1 breath? So like, try that. 3 T's. Now, if your D doesn't come out, D, you gotta blow really far down the flute. So if it's not working, why don't you try it on C? C, you blow like only to this part and the air comes out. So 1, pinky, try a C, and 3 of them in 1 breath. Try that again. Why not try 3 B flats? Okay, so you let your tongue do the talking. I can do a lot more than 3 in a row, right? That's just my tongue going while I'm blowing. Okay, it's nothing. I'm not doing anything secret. That's the deal. So let's try it for real now. D, thumb, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Roll up, roll down. Give me a foot check and a back check. Here we go. This is number 11, half the price. 1, 2, tap your feet with me. Rest and switch. Rest and switch. 1 C, 1 B flat. Okay. That's hard. That's really fast, right? So that's where your homework ends for this week. And you're going to practice each song 2 times. And then you're going to check out the play-along tracks. And I made instructions about the play-along tracks so you can start playing with other sounds going on and it's not just you playing lonely by yourself. All right, I look forward to seeing your videos.